That's very interesting. There's going to be a hot pile of shit if this doesn't work out. Am I live? There we go. Sorry about that, guys. All right. Guys, I'm just going to go ahead and start over again because I don't know what YouTube chose to not carry because, well, let's just move on past that. Last week, there was no live stream because I was at SCA. I think you should join SCA and either RACW, which is Reenactors of American Civil War, or an equivalent organization to get familiar with black powder. The British, I know, have an equivalency, and that equivalency organization has its own YouTube channel. The guy who runs that channel was interviewed by Bloke on the Range, and I think by Lindy Beige. So, but also that organization doesn't just do black powder; they do everything up to, well, First World War, absolutely, definitely. Second World War, I'm not so sure about. It looks like they might be on Second World War, but I could be mistaken. You Aussies, I don't know if you have anything even vaguely similar. So I would love for somebody to be able to tell me that I'm full of shit, and I would eat it with a garnish. Raw and cold with a garnish. That would nothing would make me happier than somebody to tell me I'm full of shit here. Anything you can, reach out to these organizations, join them, and take advantage of the skill sets they have. Very, very useful knowledge. I just go come back to that. Boa is making fun of me, saying reasonable facsimile of live. And is asking about Ken Burns' documentary. Which one? I know he did a big one on the Civil War. Believe it or not, I deeply, deeply respect Mr. Burns. He made some. He made some judgment calls that I disagree with. He didn't lie. He wasn't mistaken, but he took some judgment calls I disagree with. All right. Very, very different concepts there. And Boa observed that Canada might be in their civil war now. You know, ladies and gentlemen, yes. All right. What happened over winter in Canada is a civil war by Canadian standards. Mama Carey's mother, my maternal grandmother. Oh, no, excuse me. My maternal grandfather once said, if you don't like Canadians, you're wrong. If Canadians don't like you, that's okay. You're wrong. Excuse me. If you don't like Canadians, that's okay. You're wrong. If Canadians don't like you, that's okay. You're wrong. My maternal grandmother was a Canadian. Well, dual citizen with Canada. I think about that quip a lot of late because of the trucker rally in the Canadian trucker rally. It's pretty clear Canadians don't like Justina. And it's fucking overwhelmingly clear that Justina does not like Canadians. Even some really stupid shit, like freezing bank accounts outside of the country. You don't even have a legal authority to do that. And yet he did it anyway. By the way, is Pat King out of prison yet? Excuse me, jail. He's not in prison. He's in jail. He's accused of, but not convicted. Accused, but not convicted of a crime yet. It's absolutely ridiculous. Okay. Boa apparently does not like Eastern Canadians. Well, when Canadians fight with each other, it's a very different sort of thing. There's a joke meme out there. It's not a meme, it's a video. Canadian version of a road rage incident. Two guys hit in the middle of winter. They go up, they check and ask each other if they're okay. They exchange information, and they go on about their lives. The joke is, it's not a joke. That's really what Canadians are like. If a Canadian does not like you, that's okay. You're wrong. Son of a bitch. Thank you, Boa. Another one of the organizers of the Canadian trucker rally. The trucker rally lasted 3 weeks, and yes, they were loud and obnoxious. That's the truth. They were loud and obnoxious, and they were polite about it. They kept their loud and obnoxious down to the 12 hours of daylight, which if you're a night worker, that's got to be really rough. I get it. You know what? You can't make everybody happy. And I've been a night worker, so don't even come crawling to me begging for help. I'm the last person who gives a shit about your problems. So yeah, they were loud and obnoxious for 12 hours a day. They did not block roads. They did not set fires. They set up bouncy houses. And they cleaned up the war memorial. They got trash and shit out of there and were accused of vandalism. Don't fucking lie to me. Never fucking lie to me. There's video of them cleaning it off. They didn't vandalize anything. They may have left the bouncy houses out after they were done with the day, and okay, whatever. It's not littering. It's just you forgot to pick your toys up, guys. You're lucky you didn't get stolen. That's it. That's their great and grand crimes, other than make Justina look bad. Oh, okay. Oh, the banks apparently helped Justina with his completely illegal actions, so that doesn't help anything. Last I heard, Pat was still in custody. That is the crime. Oh, okay. Boa says that they don't have an electoral college. That's not everything it's cracked up to be there. Squatch is here, but he's supposed to be on his own live stream. So what are you doing here? Unless you're just here fucking with me, which is a legitimate reason in and of itself. Just saying. Also, Cheese Bears normally over at Squatch's live stream to support his efforts. Cheese, that's a very complicated question I cannot address in a single sitting. When there's something else going on as well. And I'm sorry. Oh, and I know Macy's out there. I saw you. Yes, they can do that. It's not that simple. I would have to spend like a week just sitting down and reading shit tons of paperwork to understand. They can, but it's a very draconian measure that is very difficult to prove. We did it to Germany, like literally all over the place in both world wars, under an international concept called angry, which is where you can literally take property of foreigners in your property in your country of enemy foreigners. And for those of you that are not aware, which I know Boa will be, Arlington National Cemetery was a farm that was owned by Robert E. Lee's wife. When Lee defected to the Confederacy at the start of the Civil War, they took that property. They couldn't do anything with it, so they turned it into into a graveyard, turning this tainted land into consecrated land that he could never reclaim if the war ended in the Confederates' favor. It is what it is, people. Just accept it. When is the time chair? Oh, okay. Okay. Yes, patience sleep is a very good thing. All right. I hope somebody has questions from this morning's stream. Because that was the general subject, but I want to address a few things very briefly that are going on outside of that. There was another mass shooting, and I still don't know that much about it myself because the suspect was not white. I'm just saying. It's the truth, right? You don't have to like it. It doesn't change. That doesn't change anything. Love you, Susan. I only found out like an hour after this morning's stream that he's Chinese. He shot up a chapel in protest over Taiwan. Even that's all I got right now. Not sure which side he's on, and I don't care. You will not hear about it because it was not a racist or racially motivated or hate crime. I was under the impression it was actually a hate crime because it was religiously motivated. Now it seems to have been politically motivated. But you know what? You shoot somebody in a chapel, you're a worthless piece of shit at every level. All right? This is a place of peace, and you brought violence. Now, fuck you. Okay. Boa's got something, but I want to confirm it before I go too far with that. Right. I want to see if there's anything in the tabs that is relevant. Okay. The relevance here is even by my standards, but there's a story about a Ukrainian medic who was captured by Russian forces after video evidence of the horrors of the invasion was smuggled out using a tampon. All right. Well, first of all, she was captured in a war zone. Russia is claiming she tried to sneak out in civilian garb, and that may be true. She has video of herself tending to Russian troops, and that may be true as well. Let me cut to the chase here. I don't care. As long as nothing else is going on here that needs to be looked at much more carefully, it's all propaganda. She was, we were nobly treating Russian troops. Yeah, and the camera just happened to be on at the time. And these evil Russians were killing our civilians in the middle of a war zone. All right, wars happen. That's the truth. And civilians get killed in wars. That's also the truth. Right, wrong, or indifferent, that is also the truth. To put this all perfectly bluntly, until I see this video and have somebody that I know I can trust to give me a true and accurate translation of what is said, it's just propaganda to me. And propaganda is not even worth the paper it's written on. The says politics and religion is not exactly separate issues. At least the line between them gets blurry. And very interestingly, the first person to openly advocate for separation of church and state was Jesus Christ himself. Render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's, render unto the Lord that which is the Lord's. Yes, Macy says the highest casualty rates in war always are amongst the civilians. All right. Everything you're going to hear about Ukraine is propaganda, including anything you hear from me. Do not accept it just because you heard it. Some of it has already been proven flatly false. All right. But it made great headline, didn't it? The one in particular that I'm thinking of, that Ukraine had this huge bioweapons program. Yeah, no, they didn't. They did have a biological labs program, and the U.S. has been funding it since 1993, basically, or at least helping to underwrite it since 1993. And a week after the Russians started whining about the Ukrainian bioweapons that didn't exist, it came out that Russia has labs using cats as test subjects that have been underwritten by the United States for years. Now, some people are horrified. Oh my God, they're testing on cats. I actually don't care about that part. And I'm not opposed to helping to underwrite other countries' biological agents labs. I'm absolutely opposed to underwriting bioweapons development. But once it's out there, it's out there. There's nothing you can do. Can't unring that bell. COVID was manufactured. That's done. It's over. You can't call it back now. So we have to get control over it. Control included the 2 weeks to slow the spread. It was supposed to be 2 weeks to slow the spread. Now, up in Canada, they seem to think that they can make the virus extinct somehow with lockdowns. That's not the way it works. 2 years ago, smallpox. Was it smallpox? Yeah, smallpox. We thought smallpox was extinct as a species. Hi, Bernie. We spent 50, 40, something like that years thinking that smallpox as a species was extinct, and then it suddenly exploded back into the universe, mostly out of third world countries, but then it started spreading into the US through the homeless population. San Francisco in particular has been hard hit. An extinct species of virus suddenly returned. We cannot make COVID extinct by lockdowns. It's not the way it works. It is a living organism, and though it may not be intelligent, it will seek to survive no matter what. Fuck you, Apple. Okay, I gotta catch up on the chat, but Bo said something I'm going to address. Bo said, I just want to see Nuremberg 2.0 in Russia. I'm going to go so far as to say I sort of addressed Nuremberg 2.0 in that video that's now set to premiere in October. Hold on to your hat, you might. I'd like to see Zelensky's people put on trial for what? Being invaded? Okay. Boa said in reference to Jesus Christ was the first advocate for separation of church and state. Well, he might have had he existed. Boa, I've got some bad news for you. Whether you believe he was the son of God or not, I don't care. It's totally irrelevant here. But his existence was recorded by Pontius Pilate. Yeah, that happened. The first one that I was aware of was a report that Pontius Pilate had to send, I think it was every year, explaining everything that had happened and why he did the things he did, including executions. Caesar, I executed a man because he was a rebel. And these are the things he did that convinced me that he was a rebel and he had to die. Jesus Christ was not the only person he executed, not even by the widest concept. He executed 2 other men that same day. And Pontius's letter to the Roman emperor said, I didn't execute this man. This blood is not on me. I had nothing to do with this. He was executed by the religious leaders. There's another one before that, apparently, where he talks about having ridden through the countryside and, what the hell is this shit over here? Oh, that's some guy named Jesus. He's a wandering idiot preaching end times or something. Yeah, what's he saying? I want to hear it. And Pontius could not find anything wrong with the statements. He may not have liked them. He may not have agreed. But this weirdo over here is not saying anything against Rome, so he's good to go. So the existence of the man is real. Okay, I'm trying to catch up with the chat guys. There's all kinds of poxes out there, so I can't even begin to keep up with it. As Macy puts it, life finds a way. I did not know Michael Savage was from San Francisco. I would be very interested in talking to him about that. Genocide started long, long before 2014, guys. Come on. All right. Cheese Bear says leprosy was rampant in Venezuela in the 1990s. I was not aware of that. Here we are shocked that it is still around. The propaganda has been around a long time. And I am the lecturer here, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I'm not trying to convince anybody of religious views. I want to clarify that because Boa, who does not agree with me religiously, I met him through Exiled Lioness's channel, and she's Muslim. And I always get very, very angry when somebody who's watching one of her videos or live streams tries to convince her to convert to Christianity. In fact, I really, really don't like it for exactly that reason. I mean, if that was my mindset, I'd try to convince her to convert to Christianity as well. And I have a very simple argument, and you can take it or leave it. I won't use it on her because I do not want her to convert. The existence of a man is not necessarily proof that religion is true. Just like the existence of Buddha has been disputed. Well, no, he actually exists. Siddhartha Gautama actually existed. He was a flesh and blood man. That happened. Am I a Buddhist? No. That is a theory that I've been hearing a little bit about, Cheese Bear, and I don't want to get into that yet. Yeah, their choices. Boa. Kind of an important detail. And this, I will talk about my religious views from time to time. This is not a religious channel. I'm not trying to convert. All right. If I tell you about my anti-satanic bent that's so bad that even I recognize I'm a little bit out of control, it's so that you can judge the background of the speaker. Wait, Carrie, why are you going? Oh my God, you're on that shit again. We have to escape this planet or Satan will kill us all. Carrie, are you insane? Yes. But that's not the point here. Okay. Yeah, no, I don't even want to touch that. For this exact same reason. Yeah, no, Bernie, I know I'm out of control. Oh, I did not know that. Oh, we'll talk about that sometime. Macy is asking, what's the flags behind me? Oops. This is my religion. This is a generic Christian flag. And this is my actual church, a United States Coast Guard battle ensign. This, ladies and gentlemen, this is my church. Just because I'm the sole chaplain of the Church of the Empty Clips, which is everything you think it might imply, does not mean that I am not a faithful little boy. I attended Mass every other Sunday, exactly as I was supposed to. Okay, moving right on. But we'll talk about that later. Okay. Moving right along. All right, everything that is even vaguely propagandistic, I don't care how true the claim is. I really don't. If it even sounds like it's trying to convince you that A side is true and A side is not, ignore it, at least for the time being, because chances are almost 1,000% you're being played. This story about the Ukrainian medic. Okay. Let me get right to the point. So what? She treated Russians. Yeah. Okay. And how do I know you didn't do it just for the camera? Let me just put this where it is. How do I know she didn't treat these Russians just for the sake of the camera that she was carrying? In fact, and let me go a little bit further, how do I know her treatment isn't what killed them? I'm not a medical doctor. I don't know these things. It's a possibility, isn't it? Meanwhile, the Russians are telling you, we evacuated like 20,000 civilians from Mariupol. Yeah, right into Russia. And we've been hearing what happened to those people from your own sources. So don't piss on my Cheerios. Don't shit on my head. Or don't piss on my head and tell me it's raining, bud. We all know that both sides are lying to us. What we don't know is by how much and how often. And it's as simple as that. Semper Paratus, thank you, Cheese Bear. Always ready, always prepared. I've never heard that name. It's very interesting. Curious little career. Okay, Abo Omega says, the trick, are they trying to get you to act on emotion and not wait for facts? Yeah, exactly. As a matter of fact, I know he sort of ripped that off from Bob Barnes. And Macy and I are totally united that we don't fucking believe the media at all. I don't even really believe the small ones anymore. There was something. Oh, God damn it. I think it was on Gab. Shit. Anyway. You know, if we hadn't just come out of 2 years of lies, and more lies, all right, I might be able to trust the media to some degree. But no, we just came out of 2 years of lies, and more lies. And then being told to shut up when we questioned the story. That's why nobody trusts the media now. They did it entirely to themselves. And forgive me for being a jaded old man, but sometimes I kind of wonder if that wasn't the point. Make us distrust CNN and Fox and all of the others in the hopes it would just give up and go away. That's the truth. That was a two-way street, Cheese Bear, so don't start that with me. Being spun. Okay, I'm up to speed. I'm kind of, I have to apologize, everybody. I can't find my glasses anywhere. I know they're here somewhere, all right, and I can't find them. They're supposed to be right here on the table, right in front of the computer, and I can't find them, and I don't know what I did with them. Moving right along. All right. Where was I? Actually, I was going to try to push you guys into asking questions about this morning because it's kind of important. Also, I'm making a pitch for SCA, which is Society for Creative Anachronisms, which is an international organization. Few Americans, the Reenactors American Civil War, which is in a bloody hell, I should have pinned it at the time. My bad. No, BOA. No, that's not how it happened at all. Oh, I see Bernie's been in a insurance commercial. All right. Oh, flip side of the same coin. Well, actually, no, it's the same side of the same coin. There is a trial going on for a Russian soldier accused of killing civilians. Okay. Well, the underlying claim may very well be true. You know what? I'm not actually going to dig into this any further than the first paragraph. That's not necessarily news, though. All right. Let me put this very bluntly. It sounds like a show trial to me. It's as simple as that. It's really sounding more like a show trial than a legitimate trial, than a legitimate criminal inquiry. No, the expansion of NATO needs to be expanded, not just to Finland and Sweden. Come out and fight me. Who is Mark? Yeah, they're not in the case. I know that much. I think I might have taken them off and left them at the grocery store, and I don't know why I did that. Be mad. I don't care. I have plenty of hate for everybody involved. I was accused, a month ago of simping for Zelensky. Fuck you, bitch. All right. Excuse me. Fuck you, cunt, which is what I said to her. I called her a cunt. I'm not sorry. You want to insult me, bitch? I can throw it right back in your face as hard as you tried. It's also cost me a relationship that was not that critical to me, but it was with a former Marine. Normally, I love Marines. All right. I don't know what it is. Marines are 99% of the time awesome. This is the first one that I had a falling out with that did not involve alcohol. Tank, you lie, your feet stink, and Jesus doesn't love you. There it is. And you're cucking for Putin so hard that you actually sucked his prostate out and swallowed it. Good job there, too. Good job. And that has a lot to do with the October premiere, guys. I don't care if it was the first, last, or whatever. It's no concern of mine. Macy points out the greatest weapon is not a gun or bomb. It's the control of information. That was also the very, very first weapon for those of you that believe Genesis. The first weapon was what? The snake convincing Adam and Eve that the fruit of the tree of knowledge was good to eat. And things haven't gotten better since then. It is what it is. All right, I'm really hoping somebody has questions about this morning, though. Especially you Aussies, because I know when I live on Thursday mornings, Aussies are still asleep. Under the heading of control of information. All right. I've been wanting to touch on this for a long ass time. I talk about get home bag because that is the first priority. Once you get home and you get to a point where you realize you need to leave, you need to start having a bug out kit, right? Well, if you don't have a plan of where you're going to go, you're just going to wander the wilderness like an idiot looking for water and fuel. And you're going to turn into a character from Metal Monsters, which was a toy line back in the 80s. What the hell are you going to do? Let me throw this one out there before you answer. First of all, have a plan. Not just a general idea. Well, okay, I could head east or I could head west. Have a specific fixed point that you are headed to. Metal Monsters was vaguely based on Mad Max. Boa. I'm going to pick on Boa because he's Canadian. Let it say that all of us are planning to head to Boa's place. Okay, that's great. Does Boa have a place for us to head to? Probably not. You want to have a friend or a family member that you can head to who has a place that is set up. Um, Papa Carey has this old farm from the 50s, back when they were growing wheat using horse-drawn carts. That's now, the dirt is leased in perpetuity by Monsanto. It is what it is, guys. Don't give me any shit. It was like that before we bought it. It's leased in perpetuity by Monsanto. But it is a place. And you know what? If the world is collapsing at that level, Monsanto is not going to care about their lease. They're also not going to pay for a few years, which breaks the lease. And we can just drop trailers, camper trailers, and RVs in Dad's front yard behind what's left of the wheat. Or maybe plant some fruit trees, which is what I want to do. Yes. I was picking on you, Boa, because I know you live in the city. Yes, I do. Sort of. Cheese Bear, I sort of do. I obviously missed something. I'm sorry, guys. Uh, yeah, Macy, that's not how a studio apartment works. Um, you don't want to try to fit 9 people into a single studio apartment. Papa Carey tried to fit 3 people into a single studio apartment back in Sacramento, and that didn't work out so well. It really worked out badly. Um, but yeah, I mean, I would head for Papa Carey's place. Um, okay, we're at minute 5. Question of keys to get for your get home bag. Somewhere where you can find it and recover it and be reasonably sure that even if somebody else does find it, they won't associate it with you. If you have a neighbor that you particularly trust, maybe you could swap keys with them. I don't know. You're going to have to figure this one out kind of on your own. Oh, excuse me. I still haven't gotten the earpiece for this Bluetooth yet. All in all, you are just going to have to figure something out on your own. There is going to be another attack, and it will probably be a new engineered virus. The last one did not work out very well at all. It was supposed to wipe out half of humanity. It barely got 1%. And a big chunk of that 1% was not related to the virus itself, but to the reactions, the surrounding consequential reactions. Y'all know what I mean. The next one, they will not make so many mistakes. They'll still make some mistakes, but they'll be a lot better planned. Okay, Bernie is off that plan with swapping things with neighbors, and there might be a reason. I said if, I didn't say you could. Or you shall. You shall do something that's not going to happen. Um, what was I about to say? What went wrong with the last one? Genetic engineering is very, very complicated, difficult, and they kind of didn't exactly know what they were doing. It's as simple as that. Um, apropos very little here. Cheese bear. There is actual archaeological evidence to suggest that maybe there was something to the story of Adam and Eve that we don't quite fully appreciate yet. This will blow your mind. If you look at the story of the Big Bang through the mind of a fucking caveman, a primitive savage human for whom mx plus b equals y is just totally alien, not a thing, and who could never ever understand a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Genesis 1 through 110 reads a lot like the Big Bang and the evolution of the universe up to the evolution of humans. It is what it is. Fuck behave. I'm gonna piss off everyone. Um, it is my job to make you mad. Because you know what? Forces you to think. Also, we're coming up on the end of the hour. I might go a little over. Yeah, that's like asking a dog not to sniff asses. Um, just, yeah, that's not how it works. I gotta be bad Carrie here for a minute. On the subject of what we can't have around here, including nice things. Guys, I don't give a flying fuck what you call me. All right? The only thing I want you to not call me in the chat is something that YouTube will punish you for. Right? But seriously, you really think calling me a faggot is going to insult me? I'm over it. I really am. But you will treat my guests, if I ever have any, with the kind of respect you would expect to be treated with yourself, or with the kind of respect that you know if you don't show them, I'm going to be mad. Think about it like this. If I call this guy a simp, or if I call this guy uh, an, a dirty name or whatever, Carrie might get mad. Okay, well, we know Carrie doesn't care if people abuse him because he's a fucking raging uh, sociopath with a masochistic streak wider than I-10 out of Los Angeles. Oh, okay. Well, there's that. But Carrie has also said that we will treat his guests with respect, or else. All right, why is this strange dichotomy in my psyche existing. Well, take a look around, guys. How many guests have I had over the years? I've had Karn a couple times. Me and Matt talked about Podhome once. I've had Squatch on a couple times, or maybe it was just once. Might have been only one time. I had Black Magic on once, and that led to the rule that if you come on my channel, you gotta be sober. Black, I'm telling you, that rule is the Black Magic rule. All right. How many have I had, guys? Not that many. And part of the reason is people are afraid of me because they know I'm a little bit, a whole fucking lot crazy. They're afraid of what I will do. Something that will make it infinitely worse is if they're convinced that my audience will treat them with disrespect. There's another channel that I'm hesitant to go back because the host was perfectly okay with somebody insulting me. Oh, you're fine with that. Okay. It was a pure, unadulterated ad hominem. I mean, it was just disrespectful. And the host was okay with that. So I'm a little hesitant to go back there now. I will not have that happen here. I want my guests, the rare occasion when I can get one, to be very happy and calm here. Because I'll tell you all the truth. One of my guests is, I mean, to hear it from the outside looking in, she sounded like a weirdo conspiracy theorist. But to hear her version of her story doesn't sound so weirdo conspiracy. It sounds like just a sad, heartbreaking tale. And I think you should hear it. There's another one. Has some peculiar personal details in her life that some people do not like. I do not care if you do not like the way she lived her life. You will not insult her on my channel. Insult me all you want. Do not even look at her funny. This particular individual is a friend of Squatch's, and she's cut ties with Squatch because one person called her a bad word in a stream, and because it was Squatch's channel, she will not talk to him anymore. She will not talk to anybody else who was in that stream anymore. I wasn't even there. I didn't see it. I don't know what happened. And she will not go back there now. And she will not talk to him now. By the way, I want her here because she's a gun control supporter. Oh. I'm actually hoping that it's either fireworks or a conversion. But that's not going to happen now because one person insulted her. If I understand correctly, it might have been a real, actual, legit insult. Like something I wouldn't tolerate you guys calling me. It's got to be that bad. She's never come in here. Oh, it'd be one thing to insult her on her own channel. I can't do anything about that, but you will not come after her on my channel. Okay. Nomadic goat herder. Um. Okay, so Boa points out that putting Genesis together the way it was written by nomadic goat herders. Actually, it's based on older oral traditions than that. Nomadic goat herders might have understood a squared plus b squared equals c squared at some level. Um. Bernie, you've never disrespected anybody on my channel. Boa, you must have only been following XL for a couple of months then, because she noticed me before the Summer of Love 2020. Ask me how I know that. I don't want to touch the subject of the frogs. Y'all know why. Well, no, you don't know why. It's because A, I don't know enough to know what I don't know. That's the truth. And B, because they will come after me. Hey, DJ. Here's an opinion I love to hear from. DJ, did you catch the morning stream rerun? See, DJ's one of those people that doesn't come around very often. Not because anybody disrespected him on the channel, but because he works. He has a job. Well, I found. Oh, yeah. You'd be surprised, guys, how often just one video leads you into somebody. Boa found exiled by a short. Yeah, actually, that's how Angel found exiled, which led to Fixed Bayonets finding exiled. Back when me and Fixed Bayonets were one channel, the mandatory carry channel, Fixed Bayonets had permission to start following different channels on our channel because it was ours, not mine. And then some things happened. But we'll talk about that in a minute. She started following Exiled Lioness, which meant I was following her too. And oh, what's this? Oh my. Oh, that's not a good look. Okay. Oh, DJ, I was hoping you had some interesting questions based on this morning. Like I talked very briefly about the closest to a red flag law I'll come, which is called the third party exemption. Relax, it's not a red flag law. It's this individual has a problem, and we need to address it. Okay, well, I'll give you the quick rundown. If somebody has a problem and is unwilling or unable to seek an exemption themselves, they can go to a judge and say to the judge, this person has this problem and we're asking for an exemption. If you don't say anything, if you don't do anything about it, well, you've got the exemption because, hey, you know what? My family is telling me that they are afraid of me enough that they think I need an exemption. Maybe I do. I've been there. I've done that. Okay. I've been there. I've been that, rather. Fortunately, I got the news flash on my own. But the judge can only agree that, yes, there's enough evidence here to proceed forward. It has to go to a jury. The jury has to agree that, yes, mandatory carry is suffering from a psychotic episode. Right, wrong, or indifferent? Mandatory carry is suffering from a psychotic episode, and we agree this individual needs to have his weapons taken from him. And he'd better hand them over. Or they don't. Okay, Boa, I know the general circumstances that you're talking about, but I have not seen it for myself. What did he actually say? I'm withholding judgment until I see that. Okay, DJ wants to ask, what about a panel of jurors instead of a 12-person? I can maybe be flexible on the numbers, but panel of jurors usually means panel of judges, jurists, not jurors in this case. And no, I'm not okay with even a panel of 3 jurists. I want it to be common lay people. Absolutely. I might be flexible about the numbers, though. This is case law that happened before I was even born. You do not necessarily have a right to a 12-man jury in certain cases. A misdemeanor. You know what? I can't remember the full list. I have not heard anything about this since I was in college myself, and that was not later than 1997 in that field. So anyway, you don't always have a right to a 12-man jury. Sometimes you only have a right to a 6-man jury. And maybe that's the direction it'll go. And then that 12-man jury that's going to sit on all of this week's hearings becomes 2 juries, and they can all go home by Wednesday. Yeah. If I were to do a panel system, I would want there to be at least one expert in the field in question, not an attorney, but because most of them are, most of the third-party exemptions would be of a medical nature. At least one of them would have to be a doctor. Oh, Macy's got to go. And it's afternoon here. Well, actually, it's evening now. Ooh, I've been going an hour and a half. Oh, people were judged before they committed a crime. Bernabe Sanchez asks, have I ever seen the Tom Cruise movie about pre-crime? Oh, somebody drop it in the chat what the name was. And yes, I have. They disbanded that unit for a reason. Somebody was actually able to construct a crime around the pre-crime units. It was brilliant. It was beautiful. And they had to disband. Oh, Minority Report. Thank you, guys. Thank you. That is correct. This is not a Minority Report situation. okay, you just described like a dozen presidents since I've been born, and I don't know how many Canadian prime ministers, so that didn't help me at all. Since I have not seen what George actually said, and remember, I do bear in mind, I do remember what was actually said at the time versus what's being reported to have been said. Uh, Condoleezza Rice did not say Iraq has nuclear weapons. That is not what she said. She said, we don't know, but we cannot afford to wait for the evidence to be a mushroom cloud. And then she said, over some city. I want to say Washington, D.C. I don't remember. I, for one, always, I never believed that Iraq had nuclear weapons. I never bought that. That they had chemical weapons, I knew that beforehand. I knew that because the Clinton administration knew that and was talking about it. I knew that because 5 years before 9/11, Saudi Arabia filed a formal complaint against Iraq for smuggling methamphetamine and selling that to their people. I knew that because everybody knew that at the time. It wasn't a secret. Oh, Carrie, did you just get mad? Yeah, I just got fucking furious. Everybody knew Iraq had chemical weapons. We just didn't know how much, we didn't know where, and we didn't know what kind. That's all. I'll let you in on a secret about how easy it is to manufacture a chemical weapon. I accidentally did it once. Oh, yeah, I accidentally manufactured chlorine gas. If that rings a bell, it was one of the major ones during World War I's trench warfare. Here's what happened. Boiling hot water in a 5-gallon bucket. You know, just the kind you use to swab the deck. Yeah. Boiling hot water in a 5-gallon bucket. And a half a gallon of bleach or a gallon or something like that. I don't even remember how much. I just know that I kept pouring until I could smell it. As I was swabbing the deck in the head at Acacia, I started feeling really funny. I thought I was just seasick. Wow, I'm seasick in port. This is weird. I walked out of the head and one of the more senior seamen came down and started yelling at you. You know, be a man, be a cussy. Okay. I had no concept. Why am I being such a bitch? That night I called Mom and Papa Carrie. And I told Dad, yeah, I got seasick in port. And Dad says, oh? Well, what? Tell, what happened? Blah, 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 bleach in the water. And, son, I got to tell you something. That was chlorine gas. You manufactured chlorine gas by accident. Oh, fuck me. It never occurred to me that you could put too much chlorine, too much bleach in water that was too hot and make chlorine gas. Amongst the other things that went in against me here was that it was such a confined environment. They actually have to force feed air into that space. And when I say force feed, I mean there's a fan up topside that forces the air down the line. 2, as if a second problem was necessary, I did put too much chlorine gas or too much bleach into too hot of water. And nobody had ever said anything before. It didn't occur to me that this could ever be a problem. because nobody had ever tried something like that before. Now, that same test, let's say you try it in the middle of Times Square. You know what's going to happen? People are going to look at you like you're stupid and then walk away from that funny smell coming out of your bucket, because it's an open uh, air environment, so it dissipates too quickly before it can do any damage. And so, yes, Saddam had chemical weapons. What we still don't fully know is what kind, where they were, and how much of it he has. But we do know that some of it ended up in Syria. Okay, I caught that about Joe Clark. Uh, okay, Bernie says, your family going to a judge about your rights is scary to me for a host of reasons. That's true. Also, it's already law. I'm just saying, guys. And sometimes family sucks. And if you don't believe me, ask my second wife. Okay, yeah, I was a tiny, tiny little guy back then. I wouldn't have known. I did, however, know that the American president was a guy named Carter. I didn't know what a president was, but I knew the words. President Carter today said that inflation, you know what, I'm far too young to have even remembered that much. But I do remember President Carter. And then 1980, President Reagan. Oh, okay. Because I was 4 at the time. Uh, so yeah, I wouldn't have known anything about Joe Clark one way or the other. And by the way, Bernie, your objection is one of the reasons why I said jury. Big capital letters. It has to be a jury. That's where I stand. Um, this panel of jurists idea, while it's very novel and interesting, is not something I'm going to get behind quickly and easily. And anybody that wants to go there with me is welcome to try. Maybe we can talk to Fiona and get her to come around. Oh, on the subject of respect my guests, there is another guest that I would, well, will never be on the channel, but I would love to see her in the chat. I would love to talk to her, even if it was just backstage. Who has an interesting personal history. She also has a little gift that I sent her to carry in her purse. In case anybody else ever tries to act on the death threats that she got on her channel. Oh, yeah. I gave her an interesting piece of equipment that if anybody ever tries to kill her or attack her or something like that, she's not such an easy victim. It's not such an easy mark. And I hope she never has to use it, but if she does, fuck you. You deserved every last broken bone you get. Boilers are very, very interesting pieces of equipment. Yeah, I don't want to talk about Pierre at all. Especially now that I know what I know about that interesting individual's time in office. All right. I'm going an hour and a half. Who? A worthless piece of shit, Bernie. Just take it for that. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Afternoon streams are to ask questions. Please ask questions. Generally relative to the morning stream. Or about the overall subject in general. If you know anybody who is capable of handling gun development related issues, I have a concept for a next generation gun. Well, no, a previous gen. It's an updated version of the Dolnay, or what you would call what you mistakenly call the Apache. I'm really interested to talk to somebody about that. But I don't know what you're talking about. U.S. Coast Guard does. Clue me in. But other than that, guys, I'm going to wrap it up at this point. 9017 is coming. Iran created the coronavirus and framed China. Get your bug out. Get your get home bag ready and keep calm. And mandatory carry on.